Hey people, it is Saturday, October the 21st, and the time is 5:38 in the afternoon. It's currently 11 degrees Celsius, and I'm on Mount Pleasant Road, just south of Eglinton Avenue. You can see some of the towers of the Yonge and Eglinton area. And I'm going to be walking south along Mount Pleasant Road through Mount Pleasant Village, and then making my way over to a subway station on Yonge Street. Probably Davisville Station, which would make the most sense. So this is a retail strip serving this part of Midtown, east of Yonge Street. There's also a retail stretch along Yonge itself, of course, but the residential area extends over towards Leaside from the Davisville area, and there are a couple of retail strips east of Yonge, this one here on Mount Pleasant, and another one on Bayview Avenue, which I won't be getting to in this walk, but I have done previous walks through Bayview Village. But the two neighborhoods are very similar along Mount Pleasant and Bayview. Sort of a low-rise retail strip of shops and restaurants, which can get quite lively during business hours, but tends to quiet down a lot in the evenings, and tends to be quieter on weekends also. In the summertime, it can be a bit livelier on weekend evenings because there are a number of restaurants with patios, but obviously this isn't the time of year for that. So I'm expecting it to be a sort of a somewhat quiet walk here through Mount Pleasant Village on this late Saturday afternoon on a cool fall day. And you can see the street signage designates the neighborhood. And this is quite an upscale area. The residents are rather affluent. And a lot of the shops and restaurants make that quite apparent in their nature. As I mentioned, it tends to get quite sleepy in the evening times where people repair back to their homes. It's not a nightlife area by any means. Yonge Street itself, just to the west, is often quite a bit livelier in the evenings if you're looking for that sort of thing. Here's an old movie theater, the Mount Pleasant. Now it's a church by the looks of it. Foxy's Bake Shop. Actually, some old homes all been converted to businesses. I see a psychic reader. I think one of them is still operating as a residence. And a cannabis store, of course. Got gelato. And a mid-rise residential building that's trying to look fancy, but I don't know if they really pulled it off. A Mastermind Toys location. They always tend to locate in more affluent neighborhoods. There are obviously a lot of families in the residential neighborhood here, and adjacent Lee side as well. This is very similar to another neighborhood further to the north called Upper Avenue, which is along Avenue Road through another affluent area. It's been a while since I've done a walk through there. I have done one or two walks through Upper Avenue, but I think it's been well over a year since my last visit to that area. This is sort of reminding me of that fact. As I mentioned, they're very similar. A lot more automobile traffic right now than pedestrian traffic. The Toronto Camera Club. Shuttle bus. So I think there's a partial closure along line 1 of the subway this weekend. You can see the sofa bed store. I could probably use a new sofa bed. Mine is a bit worse for wear now. It's 10 years old this year and it's starting to look it. I do live in a bachelor apartment with no bedroom, so a sofa bed is quite important. Antique rugs. 2 storefronts, I suppose they're connected inside. Taste of West Africa, and another old movie theater coming soon, not a condo. You can see how it used to look once upon a time. Pretty interesting. It's had a couple of names over the years. It's like they're going to bring it back to life as a cultural venue for the neighborhood. Including movies will be coming back. That's great to see. I love seeing this sort of thing. I like how they had to specify not a condo. And the retail strip starts to peter off here as we continue south. Towards the Midtown skyline in the distance. This is a very unique looking storefront. Definitely stands out compared to its neighbors. Tree-lined residential streets.
Friend of
And here's Davisville Avenue up ahead. I think I'll head west along there, back over to Yonge Street, making my way towards the subway station. So the retail strip obviously isn't that extensive. It only took about 11-12 minutes to walk through. The one on Bayview Avenue further to the east is fairly similar. It might actually be a little bit smaller, but physically they look quite the same. Davisville Avenue has been mostly redeveloped in the 50s and 60s as a corridor of high-rise apartment buildings. With typical 1960s high-rise slab design, as you can see. I think slab is a good word to describe these types of buildings. Commie block also is used. It's looking very autumn-like here. Plenty of leaves on the ground. Plenty of colorful leaves in the park. Seemed to take a while for the leaves to finally start turning color, but it's in full effect now by the looks of it. Of course, there are some holdouts here. Another week or two and it'll be looking just right for Halloween, aka spooky season. Very windy. So you can see this side of the street is just lined with these huge apartment buildings, and the other side still has the old homes that at one time were on both sides of the street. I wonder if these homes were threatened with redevelopment that never took place. And I wonder how these residents felt to see the entire neighborhood across the street be demolished and replaced with these huge apartments. It was a common thing in Toronto in the 1960s during the massive apartment boom. Of course, I'm all in favor of urban density, so I wouldn't have had a problem with that. If I was a homeowner in the area, no doubt the developer would have paid me a handsome sum for my property. And of course, most of these tower developments sprung up as a result of the subway line running north along Yonge Street. If you look at an aerial view of Toronto, you can see the towers extend north from downtown all the way up to North York, north of the 401, clustered along Yonge Street. Very strong wind now. This is what you would call a gust. That's a massive old commie block there. We're approaching Yonge Street. and Davisville subway station. I'm going to unplug my power bank. It's been keeping my camera alive for the last while. Well, it looks like my battery power has recovered nicely.
I'm sure you could buy fake turf at short. It would look good, but this is also
like that golf one, I guess.
This is also like back in 20.
Yeah.
I know the technology's gone further.
Yeah, it definitely has.
No, but you know what?
There we go. I tried to unplug my power bank and fold up the cord and put everything in various pockets without interrupting the flow of the video. We'll see how that turns out afterwards. So I'll take us right into the station and possibly onto the train. And it looks like I'll make it to the subway in time to not have to pay another fare. There's a 2-hour window for you to make free transfers, and I originally got on the subway less than 2 hours ago, so I won't have to pay to get back on it again. That's always a bonus. Once again, I'm fumbling around in my pockets here, trying to get my... Whoops. Trying to get my card out, and the wind blew it right out of my hand. There's a look north. And towards downtown. CN Tower sighting there. Oh, I guess the trains aren't running through Davisville right now. I guess I have to catch a bus. Well, if I have to, I have to. I wasn't sure how far that subway closure extended. St. Clair to Finch is the closure. Well, if I have to take a bus, so be it.
The process? What process? Which process? Coffee is one.
How long do I have to wait? Probably should have just caught the bus on Yonge Street itself. But now I've used my free transfer. If I tap again to get on a bus at Yonge Street, I'll have to pay. Boo to that. That's what I get for not realizing the trains weren't running. I knew they weren't running, I just wasn't sure from where to where. Well, either I'm going to have to pay again to get on a bus on Yonge Street, or I can just start walking. So maybe I will start to wrap up this video and then I'll figure stuff out. So I hope you enjoyed the walk through Mount Pleasant Village. We went from Eglinton Avenue down to Davisville along Mount Pleasant, and then west along Davisville Avenue over to Yonge Street here to Davisville Station, where there are no trains right now. So leave a comment down below if you enjoyed the walk, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and also make sure you hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. If you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store. And you can also become a channel member, or you can support the channel through a super thanks if you prefer. And you can find me on Instagram under KContinuum. So thanks for watching, and be sure to keep checking back, because as always, I will continue. So I got on the bus on Yonge Street, and I didn't have to pay another fare. And this bus is absolutely jam-packed, standing room only.
Não, vai tranquilo, nada que a gente põe 1h30, 2.
É rápido.
Eu fui 3 pra gente ter uma...
É, eu demorei também, eu fui bastante no banheiro.
Não,
fiquei também tirar as coisas da cama. É, o banheiro tira bastante tempo, mas...
Tinha muita gente em casa também.
Mas é uma casa rápida de
É
fazer.
rápido. Todos nós faz 1h30, eu e Anderson faz. Tudo bem que é 2 pessoas, um faz uma coisa, não faz outra, mas se um faz 2 horas.
É rápido, é. Vai fazer o parto, nossa, eu vou super.
E você tirou tudo, né?
É, teve que tirar as coisas de projeto.
Pode ser. Cartão de serviço, mas só bipa, mas não cobra, tu sabe, né?
Sei, 2 horas.
Depois andar, eu achava que era só um sentido, um nome, só um sentido. Aqui nós vamos voltar 2 horas e voltamos.
E é só um sentido quando a gente usa aquele papel, né? Aqui, né?
Que é errado também.
Que é errado também.
Next stop, Davisville subway station.
Well, that's wrong. We're way past Davisville subway station.
É, vou parar no